Jessii Vee. I am black and orange today, so I feel like complete Halloweenness. Halloweenness is not a word, but I've made it one today. So this is the last few days that you're gonna see this Halloween backdrop behind me. By next week, I'm totally changing it out, and I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but the background's gonna be a different color, a different theme. It's gonna be awesome. Also, before I get started, I get so many comments from you guys and tweets and Instagram DMs telling me that you don't get notified when my new videos go out. So just so you know, there is a bell down below that you can click, and it gives you two options. It gives you an option to be notified occasionally, and it gives you an option to be notified for every single video. So that is definitely the best option for you. So definitely hit that bell down below if you want to become a notification narwhal. A narwhal! If you guys didn't know, narwhals are like one of my favorite animals ever. So let's just say if you hit that bell, you just become a notification narwhal. Have you ever wanted to be a narwhal? Because I have. Anyway, so guys, let's get into this video. Oh, one more thing. If you haven't got your tickets yet for the North Carolina meet and greet, definitely do so because it's coming up so fast. But yeah, about just over a week ago, I asked you guys to send in your scariest paranormal stories that I could react to. I told you to post them on YouTube with the title Jessii Vee's Ghost Story Submission, and so many of you made them. It is absolutely impossible for me to react to them all. I wish I could, but I could only react to a handful today. So I'm really excited, and I'll make sure to put the YouTube channels for every single person who submitted down below in the description, and I'll also have their username on the screen as well, just for like double things. But yeah, if you like videos like this where I include you guys in my videos with me, definitely give this video a thumbs up, and I'll do more stuff like this with different themes and different things for you guys to submit, so definitely let me know if this is a thing that you like. So when I'm editing this video, I'm probably gonna take some chunks out of the videos that you guys made just to make my video shorter and to include a lot more. So I'm just gonna put in the parts that I'm talking about and reacting to, if that makes any sense. Long story short, some pieces of your video might be cut out, but the important parts will remain in this, you know what I mean? Alright, so let's get started!
My story is about my moving Monster High doll. So, it was actually in this house.
Monster High doll?
My room was right there. I was sitting there and I had this whole Monster High school
Oh, that's
set up.
really
So
cool.
there were like 3 rooms. You had one room where it was like the lunch locker room. There was
I would
a
have loved to have
the
that.
classroom, and then there was an upper level. And that upper level held 2 dolls. One of them was like a Venus McFly trap.
I've seen that!
Shenanigans. And then the other one was another girl. The only one that matters is Venus because she was the one that moved. So I had these 2 girls facing each other. And then I was like, you know what? I was gonna play with these, but like I just don't feel like it. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch YouTube and I'm gonna play with these in the morning when there's actually sunshine and I feel safe. But I took my iPad or my phone, and I remember I just like ran to the bed and just kind of like Superman jumped onto the bed.
I do that all the time.
Slid across my bed, and I was facing my window away from the Monster High dolls. So I was sitting there, I want to say about 20 minutes, until I got kind of uncomfortable. I turned around. Venus is looking at me. And I remember when I ran right past it, it was so cold. Chills just all down my body. And I was like, oh, nuh-uh. So there's my story.
I mean, Monster High dolls are already creepy as they are because they're literally made to look like, well, monsters. So that's definitely a very freaky situation. Anything with toys, dolls, stuff like that, inanimate objects, when they move or do something creepy, it's just like extra terrifying for me. So I totally understand what you're going through there. Silly Venus.
Basically, when I was younger, we left the house. We walked to and
I love your glasses.
in our car outside, went swimming, blah blah blah. So then we came home and our door was unlocked. So we thought someone had broken in because it wasn't a safe area.
Oh my gosh.
And a guy appears out of nowhere and he has a dog. And he looks as real as you, and he comes up to us. We automatically felt so safe around him. It was so odd. And then he offered to help. He looked around the house. Everything was fine.
Sounds nice, man.
We all said thank you. He left. He went up the stairs. I ran after him to say goodbye, and he disappeared. There was nowhere for him to go.
What?
No, like people would say there's doors that he could have gone in. No, there was nothing. It was as if he walked up the stairs and disappeared into the wall.
Girl.
Like, there was no sound of footsteps. There was nothing. Him and the dog disappeared. I don't know how. That was
And the
crazy.
dog.
Was it an angel? Was it like an apparition of some kind? But
I don't know.
It was crazy. So Yeah.
So you leave your house, come home, your door is unlocked, which is sign number 1 that it's been robbed. That is a very scary situation. And then you see a man with a dog, and they offer to look through your house, check it out, make sure it's safe, and then they disappear. The man and the dog, not even just the man, the dog does too. What? That is such a weird situation. Wow. Thanks for sharing that though.
When I was about 8, my sister got really mad at me, and she was in this field, and I told her I was going to run away, so I threatened to run away.
Where are you
but
going
I
right
really
now?
wasn't going to. So I went off to the road to make it look like I actually was. She was in this field, so she didn't really know that I was going to run away. And from across the street, I saw this man. He had curly brown hair, a blue button-up shirt, and some khakis on.
I don't think that's
and
a
it was
ghost.
really creepy. And I got so scared, and I told my sister about it, and she didn't believe me. And I started crying because I was so scared. She finally believed me, and it was really creepy. One other time,
Where is
I
she
was
walking right
in the
now,
woods,
though?
And my sister was in the same field, I think, picking flowers, and I was looking at the woods, and I saw the same man. He kind of started walking toward me, and
Why
I
is
think
he
that
always
was the
there?
first time. The other one was the second time I saw him. So I started running as fast as I could, and I ran
Stranger
to my
danger.
sister, and I told her that I was being kidnapped because I didn't know who it was, and I got so scared.
Girl, I don't think that was a ghost or an apparition. If you're like running away and you're in a creepy field, it's probably just a man that's kind of scary just standing there. And if he's there every time, maybe he lives around there, but that's still really weird. Don't run away. Stay in your safe home with your family that loves you. Don't go to random fields. It's probably not a very good idea.
I was at my grandmother's house one day.
I love your glasses,
she
too.
wanted us to go to a yard sale, so we went to the yard sale, and there was a Furby there. I've always wanted a Furby.
Furbies.
We got the Furby, and it was a brown old Furby. Like, it wasn't a digital Furby at all. It was just like a normal
Classic
Furby.
Furby.
And then once I got it, I started playing with it and looking up Furby videos. But then I got a bit scared of it because I watched a video about it being the nightmare Furby, and I watched some
Hopefully not my
video.
video.
Pastas about it, and it was really scary. So my pappy took it to the spare bedroom, and he covered it with a blanket. Then I walked to the bathroom. In a few hours later, I walked to the bathroom, and then it went off. It said my name, and it was really scary.
Okay.
And thinking about it makes me scared, but thinking about it also makes me think that it didn't actually say my name, and it just said demonic gibberish.
Probably.
It's very scary.
Furby say
and
some
then
really
we
weird
took
stuff.
the batteries out of it, and my pappy put it in the garbage can, and we never saw it since.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Furbies. I bought a haunted Furby. That thing is still in my basement, not to be seen, like, ever again. And yeah, I hope it wasn't me. Like, I hope it wasn't my video that scared you after getting your Furby, because obviously not all Furbies are bad. There's only been like a couple instances where people have been freaked out. So if you have one at home, don't freak out too much. It's gonna be okay. You don't necessarily have to cover it with a blanket, but if it's freaking you out, then, you know, do your thing.
One day I was walking up the stairs, and there was a bedroom right on the left-hand side directly as soon as you got up to the top of the stairs. That was my youngest cousin's bedroom. When I get up to the top of the stairs, her comforter comes flying out the door and hits me in the legs. And I thought at first that like my cousins were just changing the sheets for laundry, and so I was like, oh my god, Luke, you scared me. And I turned and I looked in the room and I was like, Luke? There's no one in there. And then, of course, I think it's my sister messing with me. So I'm like, Katie, that's not funny. Come on. Come out,
probably not
Katie. Come
Katie.
on. And no one comes out. And so I started, like, looking around the room. And it's a small room. There's not really anywhere to hide. So I look under the bed. I look behind the door. Like, there's no closet. No one's in there. Then I start freaking out.
Yeah, I
because
don't blame
the
you.
window was open. But there definitely was not enough wind to pick up a comforter that heavy and throw it out
No,
the door.
comforters are
with the force
heavy.
that hit
Like,
my
wind
legs.
couldn't do that.
So I go downstairs and I find my sister and I tell her. And we both start freaking out. Barely slept that night. I didn't even tell my
Don't
cousin
blame
at
you.
first because I was just too embarrassed. Like, I didn't think that she would believe me, and I thought I was like overreacting, even though I couldn't come to a better
you're not.
conclusion other than something paranormal happening. So the next day I finally decided to tell her because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I tell her and she goes, oh yeah, we've had things happen here before. We have a ghost. It's Emmett's old man. And she laughs it off like it's nothing. And I was like, what? She's like, what?
That's freaky.
We didn't want to scare you. And so she starts telling me incidences of how they've had stuff packed up in the basement before, which is like the cellar that no one ever
Basements.
goes down to. And then they've went out for the day, no one's been home, came home, and the same stuff that they packed and was in the basement was back up in the kitchen and half unpacked or strewn across
That's
the
normal.
kitchen. There was also times she told me where she thought her husband Luke was home from work because she would hear him or hear someone in the kitchen like opening drawers, stuff
Oh my
clattering and
gosh.
stuff, and she'd call out like, hey honey, hey babe, and like no answer. She'd come out, No
one's
home. They
home.
moved out shortly after that. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
That's definitely really freaky. I am lucky enough to never have had something actually thrown at me. So to have that comforter thrown at you and not to see anybody in the room is absolutely terrifying. And I have also experienced things where I have thought someone was home. Like at my parents' house when I used to live there, I would come home from school and sometimes I'd hear like my dad upstairs in his office moving around typing on the keyboard, and then I'd go up there and open the door and like he wouldn't be in there. So I've had experiences like that.
So this is my bed right here. I'm sitting on my bed. This is my nightstand that I have. You know when you just fall asleep and sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh my god, I'm awake. I felt someone move next to me, and at first I thought that it was my dog or maybe my sister got scared and she came up in the bed next to me, but then I remembered that both of my sisters were at sleepovers and I knew it wasn't my mom. I touched it and it wasn't my dog. I got really scared.
What was it?
After I felt it, I kind of stopped moving. I got really scared.
Yeah, I like freeze.
I sat there and I couldn't I couldn't bring myself to move and look what it was.
Same.
Then it got on top of me and that was the scariest moment. I couldn't see anything.
And what?
Everything went black. Something was on top of me. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I'm in this house and a lot of scary things do happen. Then I called my mom. I was crying hysterically and I said, I can still feel it around me, and I could, and I still sometimes feel it to this day, like it just laying next to me, and I don't know what it was. And it was like cold. I want to know your opinion on that. I think it could be sleep paralysis, but the fact that I was like moving and I was able to speak and call for my mom would really not make it like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was sleep paralysis. Like I said, there's like a fine line of paranormal and something logical like dreams or sleep paralysis. So I don't really know what you went through, but I do know a lot of people in my life that have sleep paralysis that has had things crawl up their bed and like go right over them so they can't see. So this does sound like something I've heard before, but honestly, I don't know. I hope you're okay. I hope it doesn't happen very often or ever after that. But yeah, that's freaky.
So for my paranormal story, this was about a year ago, and I had moved out to my cousin's house to go to a semester of college. And so she was pregnant at the time, and when she had her baby, she obviously went to the hospital, and her husband went with her. And so it was the next night after she had her baby, and I was in the house alone because she was at the hospital and her husband was with her staying for the night, and then her other kids were at their grandparents' house, and so I was home alone. And my room was downstairs in the basement, and it was kind of in a corner of a house. And so it was around like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting ready to like turn off the lights and get ready for bed and stuff, when like all of a sudden right above me, it sounded like someone just like had appeared just in the room above me and started walking around in a circle. There were just footsteps walking around in a circle, and at first I was like, is somebody in the house? Like, did someone like come into the house or something? But then I was like, well, I would have heard someone like open the front door or like the back door, garage door or something. And so it was just like someone just like appeared in the room above me. In order to like sleep that night, I had to convince myself that okay, it was just my cousin's husband coming home, like just to grab something or something like that. But then the next day when he came back, I was like, hey, so did you come home during the middle of the night? And he's like, no, I was at the hospital all night.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that really freaked me out, and I think that was one of the like scariest moments of my life.
I bet. That is so freaky. Like if I'm home alone and I hear footsteps anywhere, I like immediately call Ty or call someone and I'm like, please get me out of this place right now. So you're definitely a brave one for being able to just fall asleep right after that, and I hope no one came in the house. I don't know what that was, but I'm glad you are okay. And last one.
I was invited over to a Halloween party. A bunch of my friends were there. I'm not going to say the names of the kids, but it was me, the girl who invited me over, and then two of my other friends there. Us four came up with the idea to play the Ouija board. We took a pizza box, ripped off the cover of the pizza box. You created one? And wrote down all the letters, and it was us four that gathered around it. So we were the ones that volunteered to, play with the Ouija board because the other kids were too scared. I understand why.
I would be too.
But it was a mistake. We broke so many rules. We weren't respectful at all. We didn't say goodbye. When the thing moved to a letter, I took my hand off. That's another rule that I broke.
You don't do that.
And then we ripped it up and burned it. We broke 4 rules. Because of that, we had encountered so much stuff. Like, honestly, we kept hearing these noises. It was weird. Like, the street, I swear, like, we were walking by this house because we saw this black figure down the street. We were all outside. We saw this black figure down the street. We go, oh my god, what the heck is that? So we go up to investigate it, and as we walk by this house, all the lights in the house literally just turn on, and it scared the heck out of us. These two kids were like crying and stuff. I don't blame them. Because of this, my friend, I'm not going to say their name, the one that had the idea of having a Halloween party and invited all of us, they got grounded, and they now can't have any more parties because of what happened at that party and all the paranormal activity that happened at that party.
Oh, they got grounded. That's not good. So obviously a lot of stuff happened that night for them to get grounded. Wow. Yeah, definitely guys, I would always recommend to just never use a Ouija board. I know you're curious and I know they sound really interesting, but I would caution everyone not to. Obviously I can't control you guys or tell you what to do, but if you ever asked my opinion, I would just say don't do it, just stay safe. And if you like are gonna do it, like not listen to me and you're like, no Jessii, I'm doing it, please follow the rules. Always say goodbye, always do everything that you're supposed to. Research it before you do it. Make sure you're doing it correctly. But anyways guys, thank you for sending me all of these videos. I'm sorry I couldn't react to them all, but once again, thank you to everyone that submitted, even if you're not in this video. If you want me to make a part 2 of this, or if you want me to do something totally different with you guys, definitely let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!